I'm Michael Tolosa. I'm here with Sarah Lacy. She is an author from San Francisco, and she came in for the weekend. Well, not for the weekend, for
2 days.
2 days. She did several events, book signing events. She came to AOL, and I'm just going to ask her a few questions about her stay here.
So Michael was kind enough to drive me to the airport this morning, and we are experimenting, filming this as we're driving, and I'm holding the camera, so if you get motion sick, it's my fault. You
Yeah,
send
and I'm much safer than Frank Gruber, who films and
right.
And drives.
Look, we can actually both be in there if I hold it here.
Okay. You don't need to see me, though.
Well, we don't need to just look at me the whole time either, particularly on no sleep at 7 in the morning.
Okay.
All right. What would you like to know, Michael?
So tell me why you came to DC.
So, as you know, I have written a book that's about Web 2.0 companies, and sort of less really so about the companies and the people behind them and the culture behind them, and why it was in the Valley that people started believing in the web again, and what it took for that to happen, and how companies like YouTube and MySpace and Facebook developed. So, I was very heads down and sort of focused on the Valley, and then the book came out, and I started getting letters and emails and all these calls from people reading it who were saying they were just really inspired by it, they could really relate to it, and most of these people were outside the Valley, and they were just, I thought the book would sell well outside Silicon Valley, but I thought it would be business people and people who weren't in the web. I didn't anticipate the flood of people doing interesting web stuff that were outside the Valley who really resonated with the book. So people kept saying, when are you coming here or here? And there's this thing in the publishing world where they don't do book tours anymore. And finally, one Saturday afternoon, I just was sort of sitting around and just decided on my own I was going to launch a book tour. And my publishers and agents and husband all read about it on my blog. And instead of doing any kind of demographic research or calling bookstores or anything like that, I basically went with like the high school auditorium applause meter and the most enthusiastic people who made a case for why I should come to their city. I would absorb the cost and come to the city. And DC was by far the most enthusiastic, so I decided to come here first.
Yes, I replied to your blog. And,
yes.
I said, hey.
And have been chauffeuring me around and everything else.
Yeah, so I thought it would be a great opportunity for you to speak at AOL because I saw a video of you speaking at Google. And obviously you work at Yahoo. So.
Yeah.
So it's great to have somebody from Silicon Valley, especially a reporter, come to DC and check out what we have to offer, and also take a look at AOL.
Right. Well, that was one of the coolest things, which I didn't totally expect, was getting to meet AOL people and just, kind of get a glimpse inside that company because, it's obviously one of the biggest web players, but I feel like, in the Valley, we're so preoccupied with all the Valley companies and then just, Microsoft, especially with what's been going on this year, that sometimes we just kind of forget about AOL. And, it's a company that I've never covered as a reporter because even though I've covered tech, I've been very, geographically beat driven.
Right.
So it's cool for me to get to go and see the vibe there.
Cool. What did you think about the other events?
It was a really good mix. I hope all the cities are like this. We had the first night I got in, we did a dinner with sort of a handful of entrepreneurs and web designers and sort of local web people, and it was great because it was really fun and laid back, and you got to have substantive conversations and not just sort of a quick hello at a party. But that having been said, and then the AOL thing was a little bit more formal, which was nice. And then the event last night was just a mob of, 700 plus people, kind of coming up to me all night. But, I have to say, even though it was a ton of people, I don't know how long we were at the party, but I feel like I had a lot of real substantive conversations there too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I was really happy with how all of it went. I was amazed at the people who brought their own books last night and had read it, and it's just always weird when you're so focused on your own scene and you get outside of it and other people know who you are, and it's like, I don't do an exciting job. How can you know who I am?
Yeah, so you sold how many books?
I sold AOL bought 15 books they gave away, and then I sold 38 books. So I'd say that's a pretty good haul. It's almost 55 books. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
It's
so
very early in the morning.
So
I sold 53 books, which is actually great. I mean, definitely a normal book tour event, if you sell 10 or 20, like, that's a huge success. Most book tour events in a bookstore, the reason they don't do them anymore is they'll spend all this money and you'll sell like 5. So yeah, I definitely outperformed the typical book tour event. So I'm step 1 on my way to prove that book tours are relevant. Publishers are just doing them wrong.
User-generated book tours.
Right. Thank you, DC. And I kept having to apologize to people last night because I have these very cool T-shirts and stickers and posters that for other cities I'm going to be sending in advance, but that's the downside of DC being the first city. I didn't have any of it ready, so I will be belatedly sending materials if anyone would like a sticker or a poster or a T-shirt. Get it through my website.
Totally.
Well, here we are at the airport.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I just wanted to thank you for coming to DC and I don't know.
And invite me back.
Hope you can come back, definitely. But I know there are many other cities out there that would love to have you. So we don't want to bogart this hour.
There's definitely a lot of exciting stuff here. I think that while DC is obviously not Silicon Valley, I think there's more of a scene here than certainly I've seen in Boston lately, and I think even then in New York. So I say keep it up, DC, because you could become the new East Coast web powerhouse.
Hope so.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.